Shabbat Shalom, family. This is the video I told you that I need to do. We need to speak on these relationships. This is relationship within the borders. Relationship within the borders. One of the things I said is we never had a problem with being fruitful, multiplying, and marrying. We was following other mighty ones. We was doing as the other nations. You never see us getting in trouble because of. You hardly ever see us getting in trouble because of our wives and we can't multiply and we don't have successful marriages. This was not our problem. And this is the reason why. The Most High, He commanded us to multiply and fill the earth. This is in His heart. And we see this, Genesis 1:28, jumping right into this. And Yahuwah baraked them and said to them, this is the first man and woman, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. So He gave man this dominion over all the beasts, and that the beasts and they were to be afraid or fearful of man, because man has the authority and the power to say whether you live or whether you die. It was in man's hand. But the Most High is telling them, be fruitful and multiply. Come. When it's time to go into the kingdom, you're going to hear these words. Even in the wilderness, you're going to hear, be fruitful and multiply. That 1/3 that goes into the kingdom, they have to be fruitful and multiply. Here we see Him with Noah. And Yahuwah baraked Noah and his sons and said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. He wanted us to be fruitful and to multiply. He didn't want us in these mixed up relationships, in these wicked marriages. Most of our people are in wicked marriages. I made that known the last video. We are in some wicked marriages. We were wicked, didn't know what we was doing. We end up in these relationships and we end up in a mess, and our life got turned upside down. And now you're trying to make heads and tails of things, and everything is blurred and you can't see clearly. Genesis 17:1 and 2. And here we see Abram. He was 99 years old. Yahuwah appeared to Abram. He said, I am Shadi. This is what He's saying. I'm Shadi Alua. Walk before me and be blameless. This is what He's going to tell us. This is the word He's going to tell you. Walk before Him and be blameless. I will make my covenant between me and you, and will multiply you exceedingly. We should be fruitful and multiplying. The Most High spoke it over us. This is what He intends for us to do. And in the kingdom, in the wilderness, multiplication will be happening. Genesis 22:17-18. Barak. This is Barak. I will barak you, and multiplying I will multiply your descendants as the stars of Shamayim. We know these scriptures. And as the sand which is on the seashore, and your descendants shall possess the gates of their enemy, and your seed, all the nations of the earth shall be baraked. In your seed, all the nations of the earth shall be baraked, because you have obeyed my voice. This is the reason why. At the end of the day, when it comes to us in our life, it all depends on, did we obey the voice? Do you know the voice of the Most High? I told you. People hear the voice of the enemy and they think it's the voice of the Most High, and they don't understand the difference between the two. You must understand the difference between the two. Okay, we'll see Isaac here. Yahuwah appeared to him the same night and said, I am Yahuwah of your father Abraham. Do not fear. This is what He would tell us. I am with you. I will barak you. Why is He with us? Why is He with Isaac? Why was He with Abram? To barak you. He said, I will barak you and multiply. So He's the one that multiplied the descendants for my servant Abraham's sake. He remembered what He spoke to Abraham. And all our people remember. But we were thrown off track. And we're off track. And see, your Babylonian teachers, they're not going into this. They're not going to tell you this, because the Most High is not dealing with them like that. This is dealing with this promise. This thing is dealing with the land. They don't want to have anything to do with that. Here's Isaac, Barak and Yaakov, Genesis 28, 3 through 5. And Shadi Almighty, He barak you and make you He make you fruitful and multiplied you, that you may be a multitude of people. You see this? The Most High meant for us to be a multitude of people. He meant for us to be fruitful. But we have to be fruitful with the right mate. And give you the baraka of Abraham. Here we see this is still being spoken. And it's spoken all through the scripture. We just don't never connect the dots. We never seem to connect the dots. We struggle connecting the dots. It says to you and your seed with you, that you may, why? Why is he doing this? That you may inherit the land. Our people are not interested in inheriting the land. Jerusalem not on their mind. This is the farthest from, you look at the awakening and you see how much these Babylonian teachers are talking about the land. When you are a stranger, which Yahuwah gave to Abraham, and Isaac went away, and Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Padarium, unto Laban. This is when he went to his mother's brother, son of Bethuel, the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob and Esau's mother. We see here in Genesis 35, 10 through 12. And Yahuwah said to him, your name is Jacob. This is when he changed his name. Your name is Jacob. Your name shall not be called Jacob anymore, but Yasharal shall be your name. He changed his name. He was changed. He was a changed person at this point. The Most High had done a work on him, so he called his name Yasharal. And Yahuwah said to him, I am Shadi. Aloha. Here he is again. Here's his word. Be fruitful and multiply. The Most High doesn't change. He doesn't change. This is the same word we're seeing from Genesis all through. We're seeing it all through the scripture. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall proceed from you. And kings, plural, shall come from your body. The land, here we go about the land again. We keep talking about the land. The scripture keeps talking about the land. The Most High keep talking about the land. The prophets keep talking about the land. Why aren't the Babylonian teachers talking about the land? Because they're stuck. They stuck in the miry clay of Babylon. They are married to Babylon. And they have been taken down and taken out. The land which I gave Abram and Isaac, I give to you. And to your descendants after you, I give this land. You know, in a marriage, who would give this woman away? You know how they do the marriages in Babylon. Who gives this woman away? In the father of the bride, I give this woman. This is what the Most High is saying. I give this land. And here it is. Our people don't even care anything about this. Exodus 1, 5 through 12. And those who were descendants of Jacob were 70. This is when they came down into Egypt. There were 70 people. For Yahusep was in Egypt already. And Yahusep died, all his brothers, and that generation. But the children of Yasharal were fruitful. Look at this. You see, this wasn't our problem. When you read Yasharal was fruitful, I'm not making myself clear here. When you read they were fruitful, they were marrying. You have to understand this. Marriages was happening. They were marrying in mass numbers. And then you don't see them getting in trouble for marrying. We just married as a nation. We married the wrong one. You know, we wanted to mingle with the other nations and do what they did and serve their mighty one. Then we got married to another one. So the Yasharal were fruitful, increased abundantly. They multiplied and grew exceedingly mighty. And the land was filled with them. Now, something is happening. Our people are coming back within the borders. And I told you in the last video, there are babies being born in the borders by our people. And here we go again, within the borders, marrying, being fruitful, and multiply. That Baraka is upon us. Many marriages will happen. The wilderness, many marriages will continue to be fruitful and multiply. And these kids going into they will make it, many of these kids will make it into the kingdom. Many of these kids won't have the defilement of Babylon on them. And the Most High will use them. He will use them as Louis. Some of them will be Louis, yes. And they will be doing the Kadash things. And these people will say, no, I've never been to Babylon. My mom came from Babylon. My mom and dad's from Babylon. Not me. So you understand what's going on here. Now there arose a new king over Egypt. We know the story. We always have this connection with Egypt. Our people always had this connection with the people, with the Egyptians. This is nothing new. Here it is today, our people having connection with the Egyptians. This is nothing new. Nothing new under the sun. Who did not know Yahusep? And he said to his people, look, the people of the children of Yasharah are more and mightier than we. Wait a minute. They came in as 70. 70. Just a little bit of number. You see our people come within the border as a little number. But what's going to happen? The people will start outgrowing the other nations that was already here. Don't you see? Don't you see something? Don't you see history repeating itself? And he said, come, let us deal. Look, shrewdly with them. They come up with a plan. They're trying to be clever and smart. They come up with something to stop this. Lest they multiply and it happen in event of war. That they also join our enemies and fight against us. And so go up out of the land. So we see the complete story in Jasher, where there was a battle and the Egyptians got tore up. Here our people, Yasharal tried to help them. They said, no, we got it. They got tore up. They got beat up. Okay, now we need help. Finally, a few of Yasharal went in there and devoured the enemy. And that made them afraid. And this is when they came up with this plan. Therefore, they set taskmasters over them to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh's supply cities, Pethim and Ramses. But the more they afflict them, watch this. Here we go in Babylon, being afflicted, being killed, but we continue to multiply. You know we're the people. We continue, our people should have been exterminated. They have all these different extermination plans, but we continue to multiply. The more they hung us from trees, the more they killed us, the more they fed our babies to alligators, the more we multiply. That was affliction. And here it is. They're trying to tell us we're the minority. Look around. As I awakened to the truth, I realized that was a lie. Our people are not the minority. They lied. They say it's more of them than it is of us. And now they're saying their race is about extinct. The more they multiplied and grew, the more they afflict them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were in the dread of the children of Yasharal. How is this? Because of be fruitful and multiply. He spoke this over our people. He spoke this over us. This is resting upon us. And when we come back to the Torah, we come back to righteousness, this stuff will continue. And yes, he wants us in righteous marriages. Leviticus 26:9. For I will look on you favorably and make you fruitful. This is how he's looking at his people. And I will make you fruitful, multiply you, and confirm my covenant with you. The Most High has work to do, and he's going to do his part. It's a promise. He's not breaking his word. We're the word breakers. We're the one that break our word. When we make a covenant, we break our word. But he always keeps his word.